Gabe,
Hey,
thank
what's
you so much for joining me. How are you doing today?
good, man? Good.
Good. I talked to you about 10 months ago, and it was right before the Daniel Jacobs fight, which you should have won, by the way.
Yeah.
Ever since that fight occurred, it seems like something has just clicked or come full circle for you. I mean, the last two fights, you've looked like a top three fighter in the division. What do you think is responsible for your performances as of late?
Thanks, man. I think it's just, taking responsibility for uh, you know, everything that I need to do to be fighting at this level. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I was saying earlier with the last reporter, that I think when you're in your 20s, right? As far as for me, I was taking things for granted. I was taking the opportunity in the moment. I was taking it for granted. You know what I'm saying? And I think now I appreciate the moment. I realize that I have a small window to really make this happen. And getting with Freddie was like, yo, this is it. This is the run. Like we got to get these titles, and I just really been locked in right now.
When you kind of talk about taking things for granted, is that as far as like getting into prime shape? Is it as far as like boxing IQ, or a little bit of all of those things?
No, I think it's more of a mental thing.
Mhm.
I've always been a dog. I've always trained hard. I've always put the work in. But I think it's a mindset thing. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes you could be full of yourself, cocky, and mentally not do the things that are important. Um, Now I study a lot more. You know, I'm more strategic of what I do. You know what I mean? So it's just understanding like the power of the mind, right? And just really locking myself in mentally,
Mhm.
and just understanding that's a weapon right there in itself. And I think I've been in fights where maybe I took the moment for granted, or maybe I thought lightly of my opponent, and then that can be a shocker mentally, where it's like, oh shit, I didn't know it was gonna be this kind of fight. Now all of a sudden you're in a dog fight. You know what I mean? Where mentally you prepare yourself for anything, then it doesn't matter what kind of match you're in, because you're mentally preparing yourself for that. So I understand that at this point in my career.
Through all the wins and the losses, I mean, it really seems like every experience has taught you something that you've been able to carry to where you are now.
For sure.
Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Mhm.
You know, I don't, I wouldn't change anything in my career. The ups and downs, the injuries, the losses, all that, man. I think it builds me for the type of fighter I am today. And I'm going to use all the good and the bad, and I'm going to use all that and put it together, and and put a put a performance of a lifetime come November 19th. It's going to be all. I'm going to leave it all in the ring.
You mentioned Freddie Roach's name, and it seems that when Freddie Roach clicks with an athlete, a la obviously Manny Pacquiao, but I think Miguel Cotto as well, someone that kind of bounced around between trainers and
Yeah,
just had that understanding. Do you feel that's the type of relationship that you have with Freddie? And kind of talk about the things that has come into fruition since bringing Freddie on.
for sure. Well, one thing that I appreciate about Freddie, he's an old school fighter, old school trainer. Um, and he's all business. So when I come to the gym, it's no bullshitting. We go right to business. He controls everything. He calls the shots. I'm not the shot caller. I think that was a mistake that I would do in the past, where maybe I would dictate my camps and I would control my camps. And one thing is I have so much respect for Freddie that whatever he says goes. And we're having the best sparring. The best fighters come to Freddie's gym. So iron sharpens iron, so it's making me a better fighter. So I just think that really really adds to my game, is having that kind of trainer that I can respect and knows what he's talking about. Freddie's the guy that called that shot with that overhand right. He told me that's the shot we're gonna get him with, and we worked on that shot throughout the whole camp. Um, and and I was so excited when I landed the punch, because it was the punch we worked on, where it was like I knew it was over. Because as soon as I clipped the guy, I just felt him drop like dead weight, and I was like, oh, he ain't getting back up. You know what I mean? So it was just yeah, it was just great to like, be in a camp, work on a game plan, and then it just played out how we worked on it. It was great.
Going back to that fight with Beck the Bully, obviously a lot of people had you as the underdog in that fight. You get dropped in round one, but you get on your feet, you compose yourself. Is that due to the fact that you've been there before, that you know what it's like to be in that moment, and you found a way to stay calm?
Yeah, for sure. He caught me cold. It's the first round. I saw an opportunity to catch him with that right hand that we were working on, but the problem was I was standing too tall when I threw the shot. So when I was standing too tall, I exposed my rib, and he caught me on the money. And I could have stood up, but he was throwing bombs, and in boxing, anything can happen. It just takes one more shot where it could do some serious damage. So I'm like, man, it's only the first round. We got 12 rounds to go. Let me just take this knee, and I'll regroup. I'll come in the second round, and then I tighten up. And that's exactly what I did.
The preparation, you talked about the people that you've been working with sparring with. I talked to Diego Pacheco just a week ago, and he talked about the experiences with you in the gym and David Benavidez. Working with guys like that, how much has that helped you?
Oh, definitely. I think that's another thing that has added to my game is, being at Freddie's gym, you're sparring the best guys. The top guys come to Freddie's gym. So I get to work with a young lion like Pacheco and a young champion in Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's only gonna make me better, man. So the work is great, and just being around guys with that mentality, that will, that desire, that hunger is only gonna rub off on you. You know what I'm saying? And we feed off each other's energy. So it's a good atmosphere in the gym.
Is part of the thinking and working with arguably two of the largest super middleweights in the division, that, hey, if I can deal with the size of these two guys and the power of these two guys, I'm not going to have a problem with Jaime Mungia.
Oh, for sure. Me and Benavidez, we did, I think we sparred 9 rounds. Was it yesterday? No, it was Monday. And then we're gonna work today. Probably we're doing 10 rounds a day. So, just putting in those rounds with a top guy, and it's definitely making me feel that I'm putting in the work to win. I'm not taking no shortcuts. I'm taking this fight with Mungia serious, and you know when you're sparring guys like that, man, you're gonna go into a fight like this with Mungia with confidence. You're gonna be like, man, I'm holding it down with these young lions here, man. Let's go.
Final question for me. You've really, the last two fights looked fantastic. Fighting at the weights that you've been at, 167, 168. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is back down to middleweight, correct?
Excuse me?
Is this back down to middleweight?
Yeah, middleweight.
Is there any fears about the weight or the weight loss or how that might impact you at all?
No, man, I feel good. Going up to 68 wasn't really something that I decided. It kind of was, the Jacobs fight was there, so we made the move. I make the weight comfortably because I walk heavy. I get up to 85. So but I can cut down to 60, especially, we got a head start where, I'm able to have a nutritionist. I'm able to, check my weight, and I'm right where I want to be. So I'm gonna feel strong, and I think it's gonna be interesting because I'll be the biggest guy that Mungia's face. He's used to fighting smaller guys. He's not gonna be able to back me down and bully me or do things that he's kind of used to doing.
Gabe, I mean, you've proven that, especially over the last two fights. Congratulations on the recent success, and best of luck come against Jaime Mungia.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.